Welcome back to the channel. My name is Josiah, and today we're going to be taking a look not at my playing card collection like we did in a past video, which I'll link up on screen and in the description box down below, but today we're going to be looking at my Magic collection. So if you watched that video, you'll notice I took out a drawer, and inside that drawer are my playing cards. In this video, we're going to be taking out the drawer that's right above it, the drawer that contains my Magic gimmicks, really. I really should just call this kind of my, the reason I call it my Magic drawer, these are the things that I use for Magic that aren't necessarily playing cards. This contains my gimmicks that I've made and also a few that I bought. It also contains various accessories that I sometimes use, utilities for making gimmicks, those kinds of things. So yeah, let's just get into taking a look at it. Alright, so here's my Magic drawer. Now, this might not be exactly what you were expecting, unless you watched the intro, of course, in which case this looks exactly like you were expecting. But we're going to look at it. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Normally, it doesn't look this organized. I try to keep it relatively organized, but normally I just kind of toss things in a certain general area in here. I just reorganized it before the video. That way it would look good. I try to keep it in a good condition, but it just is, I don't know. Anyway, but let's just talk about it. So, I think I'm going to work from this side to this side. I'm just going to kind of go through each of these little areas. So, over here, let's just start with these right here. These are card cases. They're just these little boxes that can hold cards, which is really cool. They're just plastic. That way, if I ever... normally I would use these if I'm going somewhere and I don't want my cards to get, I don't want to have to set a card box down next to get it wet or anything. I can keep those in here. And then I have another one, which is a little bit different than these ones. And this one is able to hold card cases. This one is actually what my Fort Knox playing cards came in when I got them. So that's what those are basically. Then we have this right here, which is, it looks like a brick of bicycle playing cards. This is not a brick of bicycle playing cards, this is just the box. Inside is where I keep these. So these are some extra card cases that I can use that, the cards have been lost, or basically these are just card cases where the cards have been sacrificed to making gimmicks or whatever, or there's not that many cards left. These are basically just a few boxes that I have in here that I could gimmick out if I ever need to gimmick a card case. And then the rest of the box in here is just extra cards. These are all just extra playing cards from all different kinds of decks of cards, mostly just red bikes and blue bikes and black bikes. And but yeah, it's just extra cards and that kind of stuff. This is just so any time that I need to reach in and get a gimmick or a duplicate or that kind of thing, normally I'm gonna probably reach in here and try to find it in here or whatever I need. So we'll just stick these back in here and get everything arranged before continuing. Alright, so that is this first side of it. I'll keep this card aside for now. Moving on to this row, sort of, we have these boxes here. This box, I believe, is mostly just some storage. Oh, yes. So this box contains some gimmicks, sort of these types of gimmicks. So, like I kind of like to call these J-Sync gimmicks because they're gimmicks that, like the PDF that you print, PDFs that you get and print out at home. There's some Monopoly Money things in here. There's a folded card from Juicier Fruit, which I taught on the channel recently. Or not recently, even just or very early on in the channel I taught that. But that's where those gimmicks are stored. I'll probably teach some more things from there eventually. And then this box contains all of my Vital Deck Switch gimmicks. As well as there are these things right here, which are... these are actually used for a signature duplication that I do. So there are certain tricks that I do where I sometimes try to use a signature duplication those are used for that. And these are all of my Vital deck switch gimmicks. So they're all just the shells of the playing cards, except for I do have this one thing here. I think I was planning on making a gimmick with this. We might do that eventually. But anyway, that's where I keep all those gimmicks. I taught those earlier on in the Summer Stack series, so pretty cool there. And then back here I have Magic, just the really big Magic products. So I have Daniel Garcia's Mint Box, which is a really, really cool gimmick. I really, really love this big gimmick. It's just a really cool gimmick. I really love it. I use it all the time with my ambitious card routine. And I also have the Real Man's Wallet. Fun fact about the Real Man's Wallet, this one is actually, I'll just show you. I actually have two of them because the one that I originally got for Christmas, I accidentally left it in my pocket when I went in the washer, so it ended up looking like this. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyway, those are the gimmicks. I carry around the Real Man's Wallet all the time. I just put it in its box for this video. And with my ambitious card routine, I use both gimmicks, the Mint Box and Real Man's Wallet. So pretty cool there. Let's take a look here at, yeah, I think that's it for this row. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but coming over to this section over here, this is where a lot of the fun is going to happen. So I'm not entirely sure where this was. Oh yeah, it was right here. This is just a hole punch, because there are certain tricks with a hole punch that I do. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But then over here we have all of our index cards things. So I have this pack of index cards, brand new, and then I have these index cards and this stack of cut index cards. I did film a quick tutorial for a trick using this, and I might still do a tutorial. It wasn't it wasn't as short as I wanted it to be. I might try filming another one and making it shorter eventually, but I just deleted the footage. So I do that sometimes in my videos, but anyway. Then over here we have these locks. This is a trick that I do with the hole punch, with hole punched cards, where their card appears hole punched and stuck on a card, where basically what happens in the trick is you have a spectator select a card, they sign the card, and then you kind of have the spectator dribble the cards, then you kind of just dribble the cards or spring the cards or really anything, and then when you reach out with this hole punch, suddenly a card gets trapped on the hole punch and locked on it, which is pretty cool. That's just a pretty cool trick using hole punch and lock. So I have actually 4 locks in total that I actually used way back when I actually made some like escape rooms for my family. So I actually have these locks from it. So I just have 2 of those locks in here for that trick. Yeah. Then obviously I have double-sided tape. This is very useful as a magician, very helpful. You make a lot of gimmicks with this. This is a magician's best friend is the way I like to think of it, and a lot of people like to think of it. And here I have this. This is a gimmick. This is called, you've probably seen this before. This is just this one gimmick that a lot of people get in like magic kits and stuff. It's disappearing deck trick. So it's kind of a coolish gimmick, I guess. Don't really use it a whole often. It did actually fool people though, which was kind of cool. I found it kind of interesting because to me this gimmick is super easy, super kind of simple and beginner, and then I was like, huh, this actually fooled some people. So that was kind of fun. But anyway, moving over to this side, I have this deck here, which is actually a marked deck. Let me see, I marked this a while back. Let me see, is the Jokers... See, there's one Joker in here, so yeah, this is the Joker that also goes in there. Let me see if I can still read the markings on this. Okay, so if I cut to a random card, I believe this is the Jack of Diamonds. Yes, it is. This one is the Jack of Hearts. Yeah. This one is the 10 of Clubs. No, the 2 of Clubs. Yeah, that would be what this be. I haven't used this one in a while. I marked this a while back and used it for some tricks, but I haven't used this marked deck in a while now. So, but I did also gimmick the box on this. I put some playing card reveals on the box. I put an Ace of Diamonds and a King on the flap here, and I put a King of Hearts on this flap. So I did put some playing card reveals into it as well. I mean, if you're gonna have a box, a gimmicked deck, I mean, why not make the most out of it, okay? So I did that. Then I have these 2 gimmicks over here. This is a deck of double facers. I've taught a few things with, I think actually only one thing with double facers on the channel before, but I use this is a deck of double facers. And then this is called a one-way force deck. And what this is it's a deck where every single card is the exact same. So there are a couple of tricks that you can use this for. Probably the main thing that you can use it for that a lot of people think of, and this is why it's called a one-way force deck, is that you can just very cleanly just spread the cards out. No classic force, no cold force, none of that. Spectator can literally grab any card and it's always going to be the same card. And this is also helpful for getting duplicate cards. So that's a one-way force deck. And then right here I have probably one of my favorite. This is probably actually my favorite. I'll go as far as to say this is my favorite gaff deck ever. The Invisible deck. I loved this. This is actually, the blue one is more recent. The red one this is the first one I got for Easter last year. People just freak out with this every single time I used it. Okay, it's really, really cool. So I have the red one, which I use. This is the one that I used for all those performances. And then I also have the blue one here. So, yeah, let's just use the blue one for the performance. So, now there are a lot of really cool things you can, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what we'll do is we'll just leave the blue one here. So I'm actually gonna grab my marked deck here, and we're gonna use this to represent a spectator. So spectator would take this deck of cards, they'd shuffle it up, or well, they wouldn't actually take it, but I'd have them think of a card. So we'll say, and then I'd have them then think of a card and name it whatever card they want. So let's say they were to name, okay, we're not going to use the Joker. We use the Jack of Spades. Okay, the Jack of Spades is the card they're thinking of. So I would say, you know what? There's actually. So what I would do is I would say I have an invisible deck in my pocket. I hand them the invisible deck and say, go through the cards, take one card out, think of it, turn it over, and place it face down back in the deck, and then shuffle the deck. In this case, so the card they turned over would be the Jack of Spades. I'd have them put it back in the box, hand it back to me. I'd go in my pocket, and then I'd pull this out, and I'd say, the invisible deck has become real. And you said that the card you had was the Jack of Spades? Correct? The Jack of Spades. And they say, yes. And I say, look. Hold up. Check this out. If I actually spread through the deck, you'll see there's actually one card face down among all these face-up cards. And if this is the same deck, then it should in fact be the Jack of Spades. So yeah, this is a really cool gimmick deck. It's not my place to teach this trick, and I won't ever on this channel anyway, but if I could, because I just love this trick too much. But you can go check this out online. I still have the instructions for both decks here. I'm not sure why. I don't even really need the instructions. I know how the deck works perfectly well. And I also know a whole bunch of really cool things to do with it. So, but that's just one example. There's so many different alternate presentations and ways that you can use this. There are just so many cool things that you can use this for. It's such a cool gimmick. But anyway, that's the invisible deck. Coming back here, we have all of our just card box gimmick thingies. Just card boxes that I've made that I've gimmicked up. So I have these ones here, which are, this is just a regular card box, but this is a card box, but it has a playing card fused on, in this case, the Queen of Hearts, okay? This is a really cool trick. It's called Final Fusion by Jay Sankey. And it's a gimmick you have to make yourself. So I actually made this myself. I actually printed out the card box, and I had to fold it and glue it together and all this, but it's so cool because it looks so much like a real card box, okay? At least to a layman anyway, it looks like just a regular card box, but pretty cool gimmick. But anyway, there's that. Then I have this here, which I used. This is a gimmick that I used for my levitating card video, which of course you know that's just a card levitating out of the pack. It's just this thing here. But go ahead, I'll roll a clip of it, of me performing it. Yeah, just kind of a cool little gimmick that you can use if you want. Then this is, I have a red version of Final Fusion here, and then I also have this gimmick here, which is a really cool trick by Jay Sankey. I really love this trick. This is called Housebound, where essentially a spectator selects a card and signs the card, and then it appears taped to the card case. And you can show this card in plain sight since the beginning, and then at the end of the trick, it's taped to the card box. So, just a pretty cool gimmick. So those are all of the box gimmicks. And then over here, obviously, I just have Post-it notes. But let's come back here to this baggie, which you'll notice I skipped over, because this is my bag of gaff cards. Alright, let's take a look at all that's in my little baggie here. This little baggie of goodness. So inside this baggie, you'll notice the first thing here. This is a trick that was taught on the Scam Nation channel, which I really loved this trick. I saw it was a video, tic-tac-toe, and I was like, huh, this is actually a really cool trick. So essentially, it's a prediction where you reveal, first off, you show, like here you show, this is my prediction. My prediction is, we will tie. But more importantly, here's the board, and then you unfold it, and then when you show this, the board, the tic-tac-toe board you have drawn here matches the board of the tic-tac-toe game that you just played, which is pretty cool. But then I have these gimmicks here, so let's run through all the gimmicks. So first off, I have this, which is, I have a number of these somewhere. This came with my Anchor playing cards. It's a double blanked card. Then I have a blank card from the Fort Knox, another blank card from the Purple Knox, blank card from Blue Bikes, and then I have a duplicate Queen of Hearts for the Purple Knox and the Golden Knox. Then I have this card here, which is just kind of a weird prediction card where I just have prediction written on the back, just for funsies. Then I have this. This is a really, really sick gimmick. I love this so much. This is actually something I made at home. It's a 7 of heart. It's a Jack of Spades with 7 of diamonds missing in the middle. It's such a cool little gimmick. I think this is just so cool. So you just have it here. So like this is just a really cool gimmick. I really love that. That's kind of cool. Then I have this. Ooh, this is an aperture gimmick, which is that hole punch gimmick. So essentially, you can see it looks like a normal playing card, but then all I have to do is I can just rub it, and I can make a hole appear in it, okay? But then I can rub it, and it disappears. That's actually not what this gimmick was originally created for. It was actually originally created as a moving hole punch trick, but this particular one only has one hole punch in it rather than multiple ones, and the reason for that is so that I can get it to lock on. So essentially, without sharing too much of the secret of the gimmick, you can find that. You gotta search for that on YouTube if you want to check that out. It's on Cap'n Booth's channel. It's more tricks for moving hole punch. But essentially, the way this one would work is that you would have, this card. This is the card they would sign. They would sign this card, and then you would use the gimmick to not make a hole punch appear, but just to get that hole punch open, and then you would link it onto your lock. Okay, and that's what this is for. So this is it. So that's what this is for. Then I have this. This is a double backer with a blue for stars playing cards with a red on one side and a blue on the other, so you can do a color changing deck routine with this. Then I have more double backers here. I have purple monarchs, black. I have one for the crimson the crimson Benelux cards. I have this one, which is, I have one for dragonbacks. All the monarchs cards. I have one for blue mint playing cards. I have this one. I just have a whole bunch of these. Then this is another color changing deck one with a red and a blue. This one is for a trick by Jay Sankey where it's kind of where you hypnotize the spectator. It's regular on one side and then there's an X on the other. This is for a trick by Jay Sankey where you hypnotize the spectator and an X appears on multiple cards, and at the end it's disappeared. There's no X. They're revealed that there's no X at all. And then I just have some extra double backers back here. This is the Mint Gaff Pack, okay? This is pretty cool. I got this a while back. This brings back old memories. I got this a while back when I got my first deck of Mint playing cards. A lot of the gaff cards are kind of beaten up and dirty in here. But this has, you can see, I got it literally just for these. These are double facers, and they're pretty, like, these are in really bad shape. Like, I didn't take care of my cards at all, but I got those. Then I have duplicates here, and then I have a color changing double backer and a blank card here, okay? I believe there was a blank card for the mint playing cards in here. There is, it's still in there. I didn't take it out, but for the blueberry mints, but that is the mint gaff pack, so I thought that was kind of just an interesting find. Here we go. This is an aperture gimmick, just like the Ten of Hearts one, but it is for a moving hole punch trick. Cards appear, this is for where the cards appear stapled together. So essentially, you have a dollar bill, you can borrow a dollar bill from your spectator, you staple 2 cards around the dollar bill, and then you tear the cards out from the dollar bill is intact, and the 2 staples are here. He actually performed this on Penn and Teller Fool Us, but yeah, I have a number of these. I have like 4 of these. These are pretty cool. And then this is actually a really cool little gimmick where essentially it's a double facer where one side's a regular card and the other side's a half card. So this is really cool because you can do a Hindu force with this, and you can force 2 cards with the same gimmick. That's just kind of a cool little gimmick there. So that is my gaff. That is my baggie of gaff cards, my baggie of fun. But yeah, there's that. So that was probably the longest thing I've gone through so far. But now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to clear out kind of this area of stuff so you can see what's underneath it. So there's a whole layer of stuff underneath this. These are all items that I don't normally use that much, but here's what they are. So first off, I have these huge, like, ginormous jumbo playing cards. Like, the only time I ever use these is when I'm using, like, really, is for just a prediction trick. Like, if I ever wanted to just, you know, do, like, a trick with the prediction, I just wanted to be, like, forcing a card and then be like, and was this your card? That's literally the only reason I ever would use these. I don't actually use these as regular playing cards. You can't even shuffle these. Like, you can maybe shuffle them like this. It's so hard to do. Like, you cannot do these cards that well. They're just so thick. But, those are jumbo playing cards. Then here I have just some envelopes with various tricks in them. These are a collection of envelopes for, mostly these are envelopes. I have a few blank envelopes here, but mostly these are used for certain tricks. Like prediction tricks, and they're just a number of various tricks inside each of these envelopes. Then over here we have this wallet, which is actually the first wallet I ever had. Yeah, that's still in there. But this was what I actually used for Card to Wallet before I got the Real Man's Wallet, so that's pretty cool. Then over here I just have a collection of balloons. I did a few performances of Jay Sicky's Airtight, but I don't really do it anymore, but I still have the balloons from it, so that's pretty fun. And then I have these are just dice. These are helpful for certain tricks. I did gimmick up these dice terribly once, like, it didn't even look like a regular dice when it was done, but it was just kind of, it's still cool to have these because sometimes dice are helpful for certain tricks. Then I have this regular card box. It's just like this, except for I just haven't finished it yet, and I'm not sure if I ever will, since I already have an ordinary one just fine. Then I have a collection of printed out gimmicks here. I have Messed Up Monopoly, Mismade Monopoly, sorry, that's what it's called. Juicier Fruit, Juicy. Yeah, it is Juicier Fruit, isn't it? Yeah, I think I called it the Juicy Fruit trick earlier. It's Juicier Fruit. And then I have more of these card boxes down here, just not printed out but not cut and folded. I have 3 of Spades, Queen of Hearts, 8 of Diamonds, and a 3 of Spades. I haven't done any 3 of Spades with this one yet, but I just have those down there in case whenever I choose to remake the gimmicks. But yeah, there you go. So there you go. I rearranged something here too. I just put these back here. I decided that would be better. And I also put everything away before realizing I didn't put those back yet. But anyway, yeah, that is my magic collection. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.